Which Primarch delivered the most then? My answer is then it's Guilliman, because his contribution as being the Lord Commander, I guess carrying on where his father left off until he was taken out by Fulgrim, but then stepping up again. He's been the Primarch to really fix just how screwed up the Imperium is. I mean, Sanguinius did stop Kabanda and Angron, but he is a holy martyr after all. But it's Guilliman. It's gonna be Guilliman. He's the one that really put a lot in. He found by the Emperor, he had 500 worlds already under his command. That's incredible amongst himself. Amongst all of his brothers, he had a empire, and Guilliman could have theoretically launched his own mini crusade without even knowing that his father was looking for him, because he could have pulled it off. He was the one that would have really been maybe a rival to the Emperor, like not on purpose, but hey, I'm launching my own crusade reuniting humanity. It just seems logical that it would be Guilliman first and foremost.
Yeah, I haven't measured all the things that everyone did, but on the top of my head is also Guilliman, because he's the only one that does have an empire that is extremely significant, and it's beyond any proportions that we can imagine, because we really can't. we can't imagine so many planets and the billions upon billions upon billions of lives, and one person is like the king of all of them, and that's Guilliman. So yeah, it's really hard to say who the heck did the most. You can say that, because Sanguinius did the heroic things of defeating the demon Kabanda and his brother. That's amazing, and for him to hold the whole Eternity Gate and then to fight Horus and lose his life, and he probably could have won if he was at his full strength, but he was already very hurt and very tired.
Yeah, so my apologies for not hearing your question thoroughly.
That was interesting to listen.
Yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt you there.
Yeah, no, because I thought you meant like the 9 traitors who were loyalists, and then which one of them like did the most for the Imperium. But all in all,
that's
if you're
a great
adding
topic.
all the Primarchs, it is. Like which traitor Primarch left the biggest legacy in the Imperium that's positive?
That's another topic, yeah. But overall, when everyone were loyalist, you can actually type in the community tab because the topic is there. If you have any more thoughts to leave, on this matter, you can do that there. And people already commented a bit, and one person said number 1 Lorgar, and I'm like, what? Number 1 Lorgar, because he wrote the holy book, and I'm like, this is not the Bible. This is not on that level.
He actually penned a book known as the Lectitio Divinitatis, in which he proclaimed the Emperor's godhood and said that he was the rightful master of mankind. Copies of this book spread in secret during the Great Crusade, and secretive cults dedicated to the worship of the Emperor started popping up all over the place. Since worship of this kind was illegal, meetings of these cults would take place in secret. Realizing the damage that Lorgar was doing, the Emperor had finally had enough. He reprimanded Lorgar and his legion by forcing them to kneel before him and watch as him and the Ultramarines burned his prized city to the ground. This city had been completely dedicated to the worship of the Emperor, so the symbolism of the Emperor crushing a monument to his worship was obvious, and that he was done with this nonsense. Eventually, Lorgar wrote a second book, this one being known as the Book of Lorgar, in which he renounced his faith in the Emperor and claimed the Chaos Gods were the true masters of the universe. And these writings were completely deranged, as Lorgar had already begun his descent into insanity. Fun fact, the book was actually bound in the skins of those killed at the drop site massacre. Despite this, his original manuscript continued to spread through the Imperium. And over the next 10,000 years, it would become the fundamental holy book of mankind. And the original author of this text is a well-guarded secret. Only a few, if any, actually know its true origins. Guilliman, for example, is well aware of this. But revealing such blasphemy would lead to another civil war. So although Lorgar is not literally the devil, the symbolism of a fallen angel learning the truth of the universe and renouncing his faith in God, only for his original views to completely dominate mankind, is one of the greatest ironies in the 40k universe.
Now somebody's gonna say, yeah, the Bible is the same. No, you gotta know a bit more history to, speak about that. So I would say in the case of Lorgar, he's doing stuff out of his ass. So how is this contributing in a good way to the Imperium? Maybe he also didn't understand my question. I don't know.
Well, Lorgar, let's be clear about Lorgar. He had delusions of grandeur and projected his beliefs upon his father, And while the Emperor didn't do himself any favors of looking like a golden god and doing these incredible feats, he also made it clear, I'm not a god, so don't do this, Lorgar. Don't do this, which is why the burning of Monarchia had to happen, and Guilliman was there to rectify it. And, Lorgar did this all to himself. He chose to not think critically. He chose to found himself entrapped in dogma, and he's the one who wrote this book. And yes, while it is across the Imperium, imagine being Guilliman reading it's like, oh crap, my brother did this. There's nothing. The only positive thing is like, yes, the humans would use the faith of the Emperor to empower them. That's something, but it was written by Lorgar, and Lorgar had ill intentions. There's no excuse of Lorgar being this good person because he projected so much on the Emperor and upon the Imperium, and trying to twist it into his own needs, to where Lorgar probably had visions of grandeur being at the side of the Emperor and turning him into a god, which is something that the Emperor, let's say he wasn't put on the Golden Throne, would never have approved of. Yes, the Emperor's a hypocrite, and as much as I like the character of the Emperor, he wouldn't have gone along with Lorgar and his sick fantasy, because it was against everything, which is why Monarchia had to burn. And even Guilliman has had it up to here with the religious dogma, but he can't really do anything about it because they're part of the infrastructure of the Imperium, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I really love how Guilliman is frank about those things, and he is daring to discuss them, and he's not faulting anyone that actually has any doubts about it because he sees the unreasonable side of things. So I really love this part that Guilliman does have. He is very noble, and well, he can think, by himself.
Yeah, which is something that the rest of the Imperium should learn from, and hopefully it just gets pushed a little bit further, so more innovation within the Imperium, because I am ever hopeful that Guilliman and Lionel Johnson, and if there's another Primarch to come around in the future, loyalists hopefully, that they can at least reverse the damage of 10,000 years of brutality, tyranny, fascism, oligarchy, corruption, religious dogma. The list goes on and on and on, just of what's really wrong with the Imperium. Because even Guilliman mentions, if you are a wretch living in hell, it's no wonder like people would fall to chaos. Because look at how people are living in the Imperium. Of course, it's easy to understand why they'd fall to chaos. Because Guilliman is a logical person, a demigod, but it's like, yeah, if they're living in squalor, constantly stepped on, and there's a chance for them to improve themselves and it's chaos, it's reasonable for a person to go there.
Yeah, it's kind of like, well, the Emperor didn't do his homework very well, so now there's a lot of consequences to fall because of that.
Precisely.
This video is sponsored by my OnlyFans, where I do my meaningful sex educational content, fitness, health, nutrition, relationship advice, and more.